What is up, everybody? This is Danny Rocksteady. Thanks for checking in on this first episode on the water. Bringing a little bit of change of content to the channel today. Let me show you where we're at. So we're floating out here in, I believe it's called Anaheim Bay, here in Huntington Beach, California. I chalked this up to more of an exploratory scouting mission, just kind of get a feel of the area. This is the furthest I've gone out and kayaked by myself. I was definitely a little anxious getting out here and just making sure I didn't make any poor decisions. I just found this floating in the water, so I pulled it in. This has been my only catch of the day, unfortunately, but the day is still young, so hopefully we can catch something before the end of the session. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to land. Unfortunately, wasn't able to catch anything out at the bay today, but finding that plastic bag out in the water definitely brought up a topic I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Back here is actually all of the equipment that I want to show you guys. Let's open up the DirtCom trail swing. So this is the little project that I've been working on for the last few weeks. This is the 53 quart AJ50. The AJ50 is now secured into the RAV4, and I have utilized this slider system, and I created this deck right here. So this is one of the new pieces of equipment that I want to share with you guys today. But first, let's start off with the fridge. I have posted this fridge on this channel before. It was in more of a testing context. So now I kind of have it a little bit more set up the way that I intended on setting this up. So I can kind of show you guys a little bit more in depth and in detail how I have it incorporated in my RAV4's setup. I have the insulated jacket. This is that black thing that's around the fridge itself. This helps control the temperatures a bit, especially since I keep this in the car now. Been pretty warm in Southern California recently, so the interior temperature, even with the windows tinted and the sun visor that I usually have up on the front windshield, it's been getting pretty warm inside the vehicle. The set power fridge I've been testing out now since January, so about a little over 6 months now, 7 months. So I've definitely put it through its paces. It's taken quite a beating overall. If I could do it again, I'd probably go a little bit smaller, maybe the 40 quart, but overall I have no complaints with this setup. So a little closer look into the fridge itself. Plenty of space in the 53 quart. So you can see you got a main tray in here. You have a divider, and there's a light here, and then it's also two zones. This zone here is a non-refrigerated area, so it's more of just like a cool compartment. This is the actual cold compartment. Some helpful information included under the lid. The top of the fridge has these little cup holder indents. Mine stays here most of the time, but I'm sure you could easily make it part of the furniture, like your table type setup out at your camping spot with an external battery source. So I definitely see some use out of this, but mine will probably just stay in the car itself, just because I also don't want to worry about getting things sucked into the fan, even though the insulation jacket actually has some additional protection. The screen is accessible over the jacket as well, so you can control your temperature here. You can set from max power to eco mode right here, and then you're on and off. This thing is almost completely silent. Even when the compressor kicks on, you might hear a little bit of a hum, but it is silent. If anything, the battery that I'm running it off of, the EcoFlow River 600, makes more noise when that fan is kicking on to cool itself off than the compressor in the set power fridge. So in terms of setup, as you can see, I have it mounted on a set power slider. Very inexpensive slider compared to some of the other models out there. I think I paid less than $200 for this one. So very inexpensive slider, very rugged overall. I'll go over a little bit more of this installation, because this installation, as you can see, is very custom. The fridge itself is strapped down with these straps, which actually come with the slider. So these will be included, and that way you're able to secure the fridge itself to the slider, and then everything's on a secure base that's not going to move around on the trail. I removed the factory deck board from the back of my RAV4 and tossed it and built this out of wood so that I had a more rigid platform to mount this to. The slider itself is very easy to use. You have a handle here. You'll twist upwards to unlock it, and you'll be able to pull it out and slide. There are 2 settings on this, so it won't just completely slide out on you. So this is fully extended. You can see how far that sticks out. Here is a closer look at the slider itself. It should be compatible with all of the AJ line, so the AJ30, the AJ40, and the AJ50 from Set Power. So that is the fridge fully extended. And one of the reasons you want it extended, because especially since this is a larger model, is the ability to completely open it. As you can see, it opens up without any issues on top. Although you can still open it while it's completely in there, it's not as wide of an opening, and depending on what you're trying to put in here or take out of here, it might not be the most convenient. So super cool design, super smooth. As you can see, it's got these high quality drawer sliders. Height wise, the AJ50 comes up a little over the back seat. I think I mentioned earlier in this video that if I could do it again, I'd probably do a 40. And the reason for that is because even though the footprint overall is going to be the same, it's a little shorter in design. So even with the slider, I think that you should be at about the height of the back seats. And if you're not using the slider, it should be short enough to where you're still able to utilize the cargo cover in the back here and still have all your stuff back here. So if you're just kind of using the Set Power fridge for like a day trip kind of thing, you can have all your stuff chilling in the back and covered. You can keep some privacy and no one knowing that you're carrying equipment back there. I know a lot of you are going to have questions about my power setup and how I'm running power to the Set Power fridge. My whole power and solar setup on this RAV4 is going to be a whole different video, so make sure you stay tuned, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. This system is just about done to where I think I can share my thoughts and opinions on it and share how the build went. But I wanted to show you the setup on it before I showed you the deck itself. I'll take the fridge off right now to be able to kind of take it out and show you. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here is the deck up and out of the storage compartment. As you can see, I did install a hinge on this side here so that I can still access the stuff below. As I was working on the project a few weekends ago, I was posting updates on my Instagram stories. Those are all saved, like a lot of my installs, on the highlighted stories on my Instagram, Blue Yoda 4. So make sure you check that out to get some of the other footage that you're not gonna see in this video. It'll all be saved over there. But basically what I did to build this is I bought 2 pieces of 2x4 boards. With how much lumber costs right now, was definitely a little bit more of an expensive project than it would have been a few months ago, but I was able to get the wood that I needed for about 50 bucks for the 2 pieces. I did decide to go with a type of wood that was layered versus something like MDF, which was more of a fine particles put together. And the thought process behind that was, with all of the heat that will get trapped inside the cargo space here, it was my thinking that using something with layers were going to hold better and keep its shape longer. And also another consideration I made was weight, because I didn't want to go too heavy with the lumber that I was going to put back here and add unnecessary weight. I took those 2 2x4s and I traced out the factory tray, and then I cut it out with a jigsaw. This was my first time really doing anything like this. It wasn't the most perfect. Once everything was finished off, it hid a lot of the imperfections in my cuts. Once I cut down the boards to shape, I got some felt fabric from Joann's. I was able to get enough material to cover front and back for about $10. You spray some adhesive spray to the board itself and then to the fabric, and then I laid it down and then also stapled the edges. So on top of the price of wood with the material, it brought me up to about $55–60. For the slider side, what I had to incorporate was a little bit of a lip, because if I had it bolted directly to the deck, the slider was not going to clear the front lip of the bumper over here. And so to do that, from the excess that I cut off, I created a platform, basically a rectangular piece that covered the size of the slider itself, and then I covered that with fabric as well to give it more of a overall factory look. And then that's what I bolted through and the deck to secure the slider itself. Down here, as you can see, I used, I believe they're called T-nuts. I'll have to double check. I'll make sure I put a list of parts that I use in the description below as well, so that if you guys wanted to follow along and do this project like this, you're able to do it the same way I did and get the same results, or as close to the same results as possible. Overall, it's not done. There's still a couple of things I want to do, but as you can see, I did upholster the top and the bottom just for an overall factory look. There's a couple tweaking things that I want to still add to this deck to finish it off. One of those things we'll be working on today. I'm going to add a little handle to the other side so it'll be easier to pull up, but I do want to add some D-rings and things like that so I can quickly attach and secure things like the battery pack that I have back here that's powering the fridge. So I think the thought process is, since I already carpeted this whole thing, I'm just gonna cut out an opening in the fabric where the handle is gonna go, and then proceed to router from there. It's not the cleanest way. Ideally, you want all of this done before. That way you're not having to vacuum off and clean off sawdust from the material. But again, I make these videos so that you guys out there can learn from my mistakes and not have to do it the hard way like I'm doing. So just to make things a little bit easier for me, I'm gonna mark things off with painter's tape. So here, step one, as you can see, I have it all marked off with painter's tape. And what I did is I pulled it, as you can see, in towards where the recess is, because if you look at this handle, there is a recess. So that's what we're going to be routering out today, is so that we can sink this in. That way this handle is nice and flush. This is the area we'll be removing fabric from, and then we're going to go in with the router to create a little hole in the board itself. There you go. So you can see the kind of wood I use under here. We'll be routering this out to fit this in here. Unfortunately, the end mills that I have are too thick for the new palm router that I have, so I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store real quick. It's definitely never ideal to find out you don't have all the tools that you need to be able to finish the project that you're working on. Since the beginning of this project, I've had to go back and forth to Home Depot and Harbor Freight quite a few times. I really hope that ultimately when this video is done and uploaded, that you guys are able to learn from my mistakes and not have to make as many trips as I did to be able to accomplish the same task. So unfortunately, we're going to burn a little bit of the daylight that we have left to go get what we need, but to do the rest of this install should be pretty quick, and it gives us a little bit of an opportunity to talk a little bit more, give you guys an update on what's going on with the channel. About 3 months ago, some big changes happened in my personal life, which obviously is affecting the content creation. I got the opportunity and started a new job at a company called Mountain USA. I've been super busy with that. What really stuck out with this opportunity is that Mountain USA is in the automotive industry. So it allows me to apply my skills in an industry that I'm super passionate about. So most of the days it doesn't feel like work. And at the same time of that job move, I moved from Anaheim down to Huntington Beach. Place is a lot nicer. I don't have to work and do installs in a parking garage like I had been doing with all of the videos thus far. I have a little garage to myself, and then also a little bit of a driveway to work on. It provides me a better opportunity to create better content for you guys in terms of installs and things like that, because I don't have to worry about being in a dark, dank parking garage
and it lets me control the environment a little more so that I can provide higher quality videos. That being said, it'll still probably be a few weeks before I can catch up on a lot of the editing and the content that is ultimately going to get posted on this channel. I have been taking a lot of footage of the different things that I have been doing. It's just a matter of getting the time to edit them and post them to YouTube. For those of you who are not very video savvy, it does take a lot of time to produce these videos for you. I do this on the side, just like I mentioned, to be able to share information that wasn't available to me when I started my build. I do enjoy making these videos. It isn't a creative outlet for me. It's still a side thing. I'm by no means a full-on YouTuber that can do this full-time, so try to do this on the side and provide you guys as much valuable information as I can when I can. I really hope you guys enjoyed this content and appreciate the work that does go into these videos. I hope you continue to follow along, hit that subscribe button, come back and check out the upcoming videos. I try to create content that is not too specific to the RAV4 community. I try to provide as much general helpful information out there as possible for your adventures and your outdoor and DIY type of shenanigans. Almost to the hardware store now, and so I'll check in with you guys. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you guys in a bit. Here's a look of the first pass. I just got the perimeter done. Got the edges done. Gonna go back and clear that up a little bit. And then I'll go back in and take out this middle section and it'll create a recess for the handle. But as you can see, it is very messy. I can't stress enough that this step should be done before you put any type of fabric on. So now that I've got the perimeter done with the 1/4 inch bit, we're gonna go back in with the 1/2 inch to be able to clear out this middle bit a lot quicker. So here the handle is installed. Unfortunately, these screws that I picked up are silver. So what I plan on doing to remedy that is using this acrylic paint pen and just painting over the heads. Spring-loaded handle here, so it goes back to close. As you can see, just be able to use this to open up. So I'll go ahead and put it back inside the RAV. Just a bit of a final recap for you guys. I have the deck in place now. It's a little dirty from the sawdust. So some notes that I would share for anyone looking to do something like this. If you're going to install a seam, then you are going to want to ensure that the seam that you install is front to back. That way you can utilize the ledge right here and the ledge over here and most of the ledge on the side to support your hatch. Another thing to factor in is your overall dimensions. As you can see here, I kind of have to press mine in. When I traced and cut out this board, I did it as exact to the dimensions of the factory one as possible. Some of the things that I didn't factor in was the thickness of the fabric. It's not a lot, but it's enough to cause a little bit of a contact point when you're trying to close it, so make sure you shave it down just a little, and also the thickness of the hinge. The deck itself is not done. I did pick up these D-rings. The idea is to have 2 right there, another 2 down here, and that way I can place the EcoFlow, my battery pack, in the center of it and just have a bungee tie it towards the center right here. It will provide a secure place for the EcoFlow to hang out and not get jostled around in traffic and on the trails. All right, everybody, it's been a long day. I appreciate you guys hanging out and spending the day with me and checking out this set power setup that I have in the back of the RAV4. Lots of new content hopefully coming your way. I know you guys are picking up on my timing skills when it comes to posting these videos on a consistent level. I'm trying my best. Like I mentioned, this is kind of a side hustle. I'm just trying to share as much information as I can and squeeze in as much free time as I can doing this for you guys. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. For those of you who are new and decide to hit that subscribe button, I very much appreciate it and look forward to spending more time with you guys. This is Danny Rock City signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.